Hello, my name is Janine Freeman. I am the Chair of the Education and Health Committee of the West Australian Parliament. I'm also a Member of Parliament for the constituency of Mirrabooka in Western Australia. If you're ever there, you could visit Mirrabooka.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Unwin. I'm a GP in Southport and I've been here since 1986. I'm a Royal College of General Practitioners clinical expert in diabetes, and diabetes is a great enthusiasm for me.
Can I ask you, why are you visiting the UK?
So the Education and Health Committee does a number of inquiries, and the inquiry that we're currently doing is into type 2 diabetes and diet. Our visit is as part of that inquiry is because there are some leading advocates around using diet as a way to treat type 2 diabetes and prevent diabetes. Some of the most recognised leaders in this area are in Britain, and so we wanted to come and talk with and take submissions from practitioners in Britain. So we've been to London, we're now in Southport, we're off to Leicester and then up to Newcastle. We also wanted to see the Cities Changing Diabetes program that's in Leicester. So it's really about making sure that we can take best practice back to Western Australia and really inform our Parliament and the people of Western Australia about how we can counteract this disease.
What makes your work so different that you've got the attention of the Australian Parliament?
That's a good question. They've come a very long way. I'm so flattered. I think it's my passion for treating type 2 diabetes without using drugs. So I've become so interested in how could somebody treat their diabetes without taking medication, and I've had some success with that. And the committee today have been meeting some of my patients who have put their diabetes into remission without using drugs, and they're so proud of their achievements. So it was nice to share that.
And am I right in saying you did did you put in a submission, or did people talk about you in our submissions, and that's how we came about you?
No, I actually put a submission.
Yes, that's what I'm right in saying you did. We had a number of submissions, and yeah, yours was one of them. So coming here, when we have people who give submissions, obviously back in Western Australia, people who give submissions, we invite some of them to give verbal submissions to us as well, so that we can really drill down into some of the practical issues that we can put into our report that can have a good informed debate around this issue. So we don't make decisions in the committee. What we do is put our report and recommendations to the Parliament, and then the Minister takes that report and comes back and responds. This committee has been very fortunate in many instances with its recommendations of being able to be at the forefront of changes in policy development in Western Australia. So we're very hopeful that we make a really good contribution to this debate as well around how to give people options around type 2 diabetes, for the best treatment options for them, especially if they can come off medication and go into remission.
Being a UK doctor, what is the advantage of actually submitting things to, say, Australia and other countries? Because is there an advantage to your local practice, or?
That's a very good question. I just felt that they had a genuine interest, and my focus is international. I may just be a GP in Southport, but I'm committed to helping with people with diabetes wherever they are. And if the inquiry is a genuine one, it's worth the energy to help them, because the more we work from all over the world, the less confusing the messages will be for the public about what actually makes a difference for type 2 diabetes. Now, I felt as a group they had energy and interest. If they're prepared to come 9,000 miles here I'm certainly prepared to give my time.
So one of the things that's really worth knowing about Dr. Unwin is that his resources and his way of treating patients is used by some of the doctors in Western Australia as a resource in terms of practical things that patients can do to adjust their diet so that they have control over their own health. We met with some patients this morning at Dr. Unwin's practice, and what struck me, and I'm sure struck my colleagues, because it's not just me that I'm here with, I have 3 other parliamentary colleagues who are travelling with me. What struck me was how people could take something that was very practical for them and very capable of doing, so that they could change their diet and take control of their disease to a point where they could no longer have to take medication and be in remission. And I think that's a really powerful tool that our doctors are using back in Western Australia.
So I think I'd summarise that. For me, for many people, type 2 diabetes is about sugar, and I'm fascinated by what are the sources of sugar. I think a lot of people don't realise that starchy foods like bread, potatoes, breakfast cereals break down into a lot of glucose, a lot of sugar, and that when my patients understand that and start eating different things, their diabetes control improves and they lose significant weight as well. And today the patients were talking about it not being that difficult to do, and they're actually very proud of their achievements, which I share in their pride.
Yeah. It was lovely to meet the patients, and they only made simple adjustments in their lifestyle on an ongoing basis and established good routine to be able to reduce their sugar intake and therefore lose weight and become more aware of things that had sugar content, so that they knew what their calorie intake was, and as part of that reduce their calorie intake. And the impact on that is they got to lose weight, which has the positive aspect on their self-esteem, but it also has a really important aspect on their health and well-being. So that was really good. I think the way David sums this up is that he gives people hope. So often with the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, people feel a bit that it's out of their control, it's a bit hopeless, it's something that they're just going to have to live with for the rest of their lives. And David's program is very much about giving hope that you, as the person with that diagnosis, have a capacity to be able to take control and make decisions about your own well-being that will have really great outcomes for you. So that's a really positive thing.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
To summarise, this is only a fact-finding mission at the moment by yourselves, but where would the public in Australia and interested parties in the UK get information about what you found out?
So we will do a report. That report is due to be handed down in April, and it will be presented, it will be tabled in Parliament, and that report will be available from the West Australian Parliamentary website. So you just Google West Australian Parliament, go to Committees and the Education and Health Committee, and it will be there. There are many really interesting reports on that website from parliamentary committees, not just the Education and Health Committee. That report will have a number of recommendations in it, and from that, then the Minister will respond to that. And so both of those documents are available on the WA Parliament website.
I think if you have type 2 diabetes, then really perhaps you ought to start with your own GP. The good news is that the Royal College of General Practitioners in the UK has just published an e-learning module which is available free to every GP in the country about a low GI diet for people with type 2 diabetes. There's also now a terrific number of books available on low carb dieting, and the internet has a lot of very interesting stuff as well.
Thank you,
No worries.
and good luck with your fact finding.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.